Over the course of almost 10 years, Ubisoft has arguably done quite a good job at continuing to develop Siege. But at times, they made some not so good mistakes, and so here are 22 times Ubisoft messed up. Back in 2018, Ubisoft decided out of the blue they wanted to increase the pricing of Rainbow Six Siege following the release of Operation Chimera. The cost for each edition of the game was going to increase by 20 USD. Their reason? Well, they actually didn't have one. Players, both current and upcoming, were left upset with such an unnecessary change, and Siege received massive amounts of backlash. Then, Ubisoft did the unexpected. They cancelled the price increases and gave all players at the time Ash's Sidewinder Elite skin for free. Never before had they compensated the community with such a reward, and it's nice to see Ubisoft had a change of heart. They also had a change of heart when it came to choosing a venue to host Siege's 2022 August Major. Originally, Ubisoft had planned to host their annual tournament in a new location that year and had arrived at the decision that the United Arab Emirates would be their country of choice. Problem was, Siege is known for being an inclusive game for all people, and with that being said, the UAE doesn't have the same laws as Montreal, where Ubisoft is based out of, when it comes to LGBT+ inclusivity. Without hesitation, parts of the community were quick to lash out against the decision. Ubisoft explained they went through extensive discussion with the UAE government and came to the agreement everyone would be welcomed, but in the end, the major was moved to Berlin, Germany. In the competitive scene, players are only allowed to wear esport outfits or team bundles for the sake of keeping a competitive integrity. If you are curious how wearing a certain outfit would result in a competitive advantage, allow me to introduce you to Ember Rise outfits, one of Siege's most regrettable decisions added to the game. If you take a look at operators wearing these uniforms and headgears behind certain backdrops, you'll notice it can be quite impossible to see where someone's at. You might as well be playing Where's Waldo. With players unhappy how effective the Ember Rise camouflage can be, this marked the start for when Siege began to work on a solution known as operator rim lighting. It had taken quite a few seasons for Ubisoft to develop a successful and effective workaround for hard to see uniforms and headgears, but I think it's safe to say they did pretty good implementing the feature. On the other hand, implementing Lion's original EE1D into the game was truly a mistake like no other. He was literally given wall hacks. For those who aren't aware what Lion was like when he came out, this will sum it up for you. Yeah, that seems fair, right? Combine Lion with Finka and Blitz, and you would have people running for their lives. Thankfully, a few months later, he received his first balancing changes, and while they weren't perfect at first, we have finally gotten to a point where Lion is in a good spot. An operator's gadget which hasn't received any major changes since its release is Alibi's Prisma. Alibi has been a part of Team Rainbow since Operation Parabellum, and ever since her release, players have been begging for one thing and one thing only. They want her Prisma to mimic their loadout and appearance. To this day, Alibi's Prisma will only wear the default outfit and be shown holding the MX4 Storm with no attachments equipped. Alibi is such an underused operator at the moment, and the only time players really used her frequently were either when she first came out or when she had access to a 1.5 magnified scope. It's clear she's in need of a change, and for her holograms to identically match the user's loadout and appearance would be the perfect makeover. Blackbeard is someone who is getting a makeover in Year 9 Season 4, and while no details have been released relating to the rework, we know something is being done to his rifle shield, and for good reason. Currently, his mounted shield is essentially paper mache and blocks almost no bullets because Ubisoft doesn't know what to do with him. They don't want to make Blackbeard overpowered like he was back in Year 1, but every time they choose to reduce the health of the shield, he ends up being either useless or still too good. After many years of trial and error, Ubisoft has realized they messed up adding a face shield to a game that revolves around the one-shot headshot mechanic. Ubisoft also messed up when they accidentally added invisibility to the game. On the release day of Operation Twin Shells, a bug was discovered by players where if they wear a certain outfit and headgear on either Fuse, Clash, Thunderbird, or Aruni, they would be completely invisible aside from their weapon or gadget. Luckily, Ubisoft was on top of things, and in record time, they disabled those skins from being used until they have been fixed in a later patch. Another time Ubisoft was on top of things is when Clash could perform a game-breaking glitch herself. Back in Operation Phantom Sight, Clash was able to pull out her CCE shield and shoot players at the same exact time, essentially making her unkillable. Ubisoft was quick to put a temporary ban on her from being able to be used, and this had marked the first time Ubisoft banned an operator. With such a quick response, they had restored faith back into the community, at the time letting them know fixing bugs that brought an unenjoyable experience to the game were on their top priority list. A funny mistake Ubisoft accidentally made was placing attackers' drones in solitary confinement. With the release of Operation Crimson Heist, Siege accidentally messed up the attacker drone spawn location on border, and so if you happen to be unlucky, your drone will be trapped inside of a ventilation unit, but at least you get to see the outside world. Siege also messed up when they announced they would be removing the year pass and replacing it with the Rainbow Six Siege membership to a live audience. At the Manchester Major in 2024, alongside the Operation New Blood reveal, was the showcase for the monthly subscription, and in no way whatsoever was anybody happy with the membership as it received a live booing. Players prefer the year pass to the membership because it only costs 30 USD for all 4 seasons of content, whereas the membership is 40 USD for all 4 seasons of content. Also, when you buy the membership, you gain access to the Battle Pass, which is worth 1,200 credits. But if you happen to own the Battle Pass already, you won't be given credits back, making the membership more unwanted. As mentioned earlier, the membership was revealed alongside Operation New Blood, and Ubisoft deciding to rework Recruit was a mistake. Recruit was an operator who was a part of Siege's core. He was known for recruit rushing, memeing, team killing, and so much more. The main reason the community wasn't happy with the rework was because only one person could now play Recruit, also known as Striker or Sentry, and they didn't really receive a gadget change. They just carry 2 secondary gadgets now. To add on top of the backlash towards Year 9 Season 2, the launch of the season did not go as planned, to say the least, especially for console players. Siege accidentally messed up the aiming controls to where players couldn't aim as well. The aiming just felt clunky. This ended up taking weeks to fix and had players putting New Blood up on the list as one of their least liked seasons of all time. Something players do enjoy, however, is the addition of Azami to Rainbow's defensive lineup. She provides such a unique and different playstyle, and with her ability, players are able to be as creative as they want, but sometimes too creative. Azami mains have taken to custom games to try and get in the most crafty spots that players aren't meant to be in. Siege has gone season after season patching these locations players could exploit into, and the battle between Ubisoft and Azami mains is never ending, and at this point, Siege probably regrets adding her to the game. Ranked play has also been a back and forth battle, since it's quite difficult to make everyone happy. When Siege first came out, there were no restrictions on players when trying to queue with friends, meaning a bronze player could play with a platinum player. Eventually, Ember Rise came along, putting a hard restriction on ranked play by only allowing players to queue with each other who are within 1000 MMR from one another. While this change made ranked more competitive, the enjoyment aspect took a huge hit because players simply couldn't play with their friends. Later down the road, Ranked 2.0 came along, lifting the MMR restrictions, and Ubisoft has also presented a new dynamic matchmaking system at the end of Year 9 to hopefully make Ranked both a competitive and fun experience. Player enjoyment takes a hit as well when ballistic shields are being used. I think it's safe to say the community believes Ubisoft made a mistake adding shields into a shooter game because, well, they like to express their emotions quite vividly.
Stupid operator. Who the thought it was a good idea to put the stack of in the game? Really horrible players can play this operator and succeed. Doesn't matter. Knife him first. Doesn't make a difference.
Now, I myself love a good Montang, but it becomes quite clear through my messages, my opponents don't enjoy me playing him. Players believe there are no good counters to shields. However, there are options available that aren't taken advantage of. Echo, Ella, and Clash are all good examples, but it seems that players don't want to be forced onto an operator they don't want to play. Which brings me to my question, are shields actually balanced, but players don't know how to counter them yet? A hilarious mistake Ubisoft has made is when the diffuser had a chance of being dropped outside the map. And I'm not talking just a few feet out of bounds. Whenever a player dropped the diffuser, whether it was intentional or not, it would just fall through the map, traveling hundreds of meters below ground. I think it's safe to say they weren't planting the diffuser that round. We all know Ubisoft servers can be a bit shaky at times. One day you may try to log in and you're greeted with Rainbow Six Siege connection error, and other days everyone in the lobby is lagging and no one's having fun. Well, to compensate for unforeseen technical problems, Siege is known for turning on renown boosters for everyone as their form of an apology. With how many issues Ubisoft servers have nowadays, renown boosters aren't cutting it anymore, and so perhaps it's time to, I don't know, throw in a few Bravo packs or something. Just being hopeful over here. And while Siege's servers have issues, nothing was better in Operation Void Edge when Orcs had performance issues. His main ability is to dash through walls, but take that away and he's just a jacked dude. Well, a jacked dude that Monting and Blitz would still fear. Dinosaurs are also pretty scary, especially carnivores. But have you ever wondered what a crossbreed between a person and a raptor would look like? Well, Siege has answered your prayers. A while back, a glitch could happen where an operator's legs would be deformed to the point where they just look like a pair of raptor legs. The community then so creatively named this bug Raptor Legs, however it wasn't long until Ubisoft patched this up. To celebrate such a funny bug in the game, Siege ended up creating a Raptor Legs charm called Frost Raptor, which is also currently available in the R6 marketplace if you are interested. Be aware though, it's just a tad pricey. Another glitch that had players in a good mood was seeing Consulate when it was dark. And I'm not talking about when the map had a nighttime variant, I'm talking about when Ubisoft accidentally forgot to pay their electricity bill. Certain places inside the building had their lights turned off. Parts of the community liked this accidental change and got them thinking, what if Thatcher's EMP would actually interact with the environment? Now would this be effective or ideal? Only time would tell, but it would sure look aesthetically pleasing. A good number of frames per second makes your game aesthetically pleasing as well, but man did Ubisoft mess up when they gave Castle the ability to turn anyone's game into a literal slideshow. Somehow, players managed to figure out that if you constantly placed an armor panel on a door, the entire lobby's FPS would keep going down and down. This glitch took place before banning operators was even a thing, and so there really was no workaround, and Siege had taken days to fix this problem. Bartlett University also became a problem for multiple reasons and ended up being completely removed from the game alongside the removal of Terrorist Hunt. Ubisoft has never come out and said why the university has been removed, but people speculate a few reasons. One being because the map is a school, and amongst an uprising of recent events, in America at least, it's just a bad idea to put weapons in school together. The other reason may be just because Bartlett was a poorly designed map. When it was first introduced to rank play, players did not enjoy the map, with the main reason being there were no good ways to enter the building and there were just too many windows. We saw the map get removed from rank completely, but why did we have to see the map be removed from quick play and custom games as well? And that wraps up our list of 22 times Siege messed up. But let's not forget, the developers are human too, so don't go hating on them.